Hi, I'm Teray Foster, and this is 3D HealthNet. And this rack behind me is what I call my Whole Foods kitchen. It's full to the brim of dried foods that store for long periods of time. Nuts, beans, grains, seeds, vegetables, fruits, they're all there. We've been taught that we're supposed to make our whole meal around meat. So we start with the choice of meat, then the choice of a side dish, and then a vegetable, and then a dessert. That is the recipe for illness. Human beings are not intended to eat meat every day. We don't do well on a diet of meat every day. Meat once in a while, but not every day. I believe it's the meat industry that talked us into having meat for every meal, because it isn't true that humans do well on meat for every meal. So what else is there to eat? We have to condition our minds to think of different ways to make meals, and what are meals from Whole Foods? They're wonderful. And let's think about this. To think things through and to mix things properly is quite a task. And I have done that. I've figured out meals for the week that mix bread with beans, or beans with rice, rice or beans with corn, whatever. And so if you take a look at my cookbook, I have it all mixed so that Monday has the right mix, Tuesday has the right mix, but they're completely different meals. So what we have is Monday Mexican, where we do rice and beans. Tuesday is Turkish Tuesday, so we do hummus and pitas. So that's beans and wheat. Wednesday is Western Wednesday, so we have burgers made out of veggie meat, and the veggie meat is made out of rice and beans. Of course, the bun is made out of wheat, so you're mixing quite a few right there. Then Thursday we have we have Thai, but that really ends up being everything Asian or anything Asian. So we make sure we have some mung beans sprouted in time for Thursday, and mix it with other vegetables and things rice that will make a complete protein. On Friday we have movie night, we have pizza, we have friends over. So we decided that Friday would be Italian, because that's usually what we do for a group meal. Pizza, sub sandwiches, spaghetti and meatballs. So those Italian meals we do on Friday. So we call it Friday Fun Night. We can use our veggie meat again, and the veggie meat can be formed into meatballs. And then we can have sub sandwiches, which mixes the rice and beans in the meatballs and then the wheat in the bun. If you have spaghetti and meatballs, again, the meatballs are complete protein, and then you can add your noodles, especially if they're whole wheat noodles, and especially if they're organic. Or we make our own pizza from our own pizza crust. So I take a cantaloupe-sized ball of dough from my batch of dough and set that aside for Friday pizza, if that's what we plan to do on Friday. I decided to do an Italian or Mediterranean bean salad, and that mixes all the colors of beans plus green beans, and you put it in a brine with balsamic vinegar. It's wonderful, and that mixes very well with Italian food. We have Seafood Saturday, and so because we're using fish at least once a week, we decided that we would do it on Saturday, Seafood Saturday. And so we have salmon, or we have other fillets that we have in the freezer. Now on that day, if the freezer is down and we don't have food, then we're going to have some way to go fishing. And so we have some videos about fishing, and maybe just finding out where your local fishing places are, and to be able to go fishing Saturday morning and bring them home for Saturday night. It's very important for us to have our seafood, and I understand that salmon is the best of all the fish that we're supposed to have. It gives us the oils that we need. So we usually opt for salmon. Sunday we have our single dish meals. Single dish meaning easy. It's already done. You throw it together all in one dish, put it in a casserole or a crock pot, and go to church, come back, it's ready to eat. But the idea is to do it ahead, have it ready, and not have to do much cooking on the Sabbath. By having a rotating menu, you then can plan. You can plan ahead, weeks ahead, you can plan months ahead, you could even plan a year ahead. So if you knew every Monday you're going to have rice and beans because it's Monday Mexican, then you're going to have pinto beans and rice, enough for the year of Mondays. So rice and beans goes with every Mexican meal. You can change the meal, but you'll always have your rice and beans. So you can cut times 52 weeks a year, ends up 52 cups, which ends up just about a 4-gallon bucket. So you have a 4-gallon bucket of pinto beans, and you're done for the year for Monday. Now, Tuesday. We're going to make hummus on Tuesday. Hummus is something that always goes with Middle Eastern food. You can change up the recipes and change up the meal, but we'll always have hummus. The other thing that's always in our Middle Eastern recipes is pita. We have pitas that we make with the same bread dough that we made our pizza crust, the same dough. So I make pitas on the day that I make bread, so that I'll have it for Tuesday, for Turkish Tuesday. So if I know I'm going to have hummus every Tuesday, even if it's changing flavors, add garlic, add sun-dried tomatoes, you can change hummus. But if it's hummus every Tuesday, then I need 1 cup of garbanzo beans, and they will swell to fill the whole jar. 1 cup times 52 times a year will be about a 4-gallon bucket. I have a 4-gallon bucket of garbanzo beans, which means I have a year's supply for Tuesday. Wednesday, I have Western Wednesday. We have burgers, we have veggie meat, but we also have chili. We love chili. So if we do burgers, we have chili with it, or maybe just chili without the burgers. But we make sure we always have our chili. And our chili is red beans. So you can make chili out of other beans, but we use red beans. So I say chili takes 1 cup of beans, it swells to fill the whole quart jar, and that means 1 cup of beans 52 times a year is going to be enough for the whole year. It's going to be a 4-gallon bucket. So now I need a 4-gallon bucket of pinto beans, a 4-gallon bucket of garbanzo beans, and a 4-gallon bucket of red beans. For Thai Chinese, we use sprouted mung beans. So the mung beans are very tiny. They take up very little space, so you don't have to have a 4-gallon bucket. You can just buy like a 5-pound bag, and that's probably enough for the year. If you're worried about it, just go ahead and get 2 bags for the year. But we use half a cup, and it fills the whole quart jar. And we use those every Thursday for Thai Chinese. On Friday, we use our veggie burger mix to make meatballs. Meatballs can go on sub sandwiches, meatballs can go on spaghetti, and then you could even take that veggie meat and make a sausage and fry it up loosely and season it with Italian seasonings for sausage for your pizza. To make veggie meat, I use rice and beans. I use lentils and brown rice. So I would need a cup of lentils and a cup of brown rice. And that's enough veggie meat for a long time. On Saturday, if you're going to do the seafood idea, you could do canned salmon, canned tuna. There are many wonderful seafoods that you can find canned. If you can't go fishing and find some, or just have some in the freezer. If something goes wrong with your freezer, you have some in cans. Because canned tuna and canned salmon are able to be purchased in large amounts, say at Costco, you could just go ahead and buy enough for the year, assuming that you would be eating it once a week. So you'd have 52 cans of something seafood.